Good afternoon, people. This is Marcus. Trying something different. A lot of you know I dabble every day pretty much in the sports and daily fantasy world. And, I think I'm fairly successful in. So I want to kind of do daily videos to hold myself accountable and also kind of share some of the things that I do down here in my cave to maybe offer, a little assistance or what have you. Really just kind of talk through some of the things and then maybe solicit feedback so I can improve. Um, by no means do I feel like I'm an expert. I put some work in. I don't spend countless hours, but I put enough time in. I watch a lot and take good notes and just have been doing it for a while. So some of you who may see this know some of the successes that I've had and just the consistency. By no means do I make a living off of this per se, but you know, uh, this is just something that I want to do for myself. And if it helps somebody along the way, that's great. So today, really not going to focus as much on DFS because today I don't do a lot of 3 game slates for NBA. Just to give you some background, basketball, football, are my main two, and I also do baseball. And I just try to find ways to, um, take advantage and make a few bucks along the way. So I'll talk strategies and philosophies and stuff a little bit with you guys here. So today we got a 3 game slate. So there's two things that I want to focus on when I do these. A, doubling up every day. And I want that to be as close of a guarantee as you possibly can. This is probably where I've had my greatest success in just focusing on creating lines and bets that enable me to focus on safety and building a bankroll, which I know is probably one of the bigger things that a lot of us struggle with when it comes to sports betting and what have you, just really managing a bankroll effectively. And then I'll put out a lottery ticket, if you will, something to offer as a guide. And I want to preface all of this by saying, please make sure that you're doing things responsibly and that you're doing things within your means, so you don't get too emotional one way or the other. It's supposed to be a fun, and more times than not, right? There's no such thing as things are going to happen, injuries are going to happen. And that's part of the strategy is just trying to find the avenues where you minimize your risk. I always have the saying, bet on money. And so I try to focus on where the money is. And that's where hopefully this takes you. We all have different feelings and philosophies, and they're all, obviously to be respected. I would always encourage anybody to go with their gut when they're feeling something. But this is just something that, for me, being kind of a little bit of a student of the game, I try to focus on. So with that said, so first of all, we got the Knicks in Detroit. In Detroit, there's obviously some injury news that needs to come out. Looks like Stewart's back, will probably be in the starting lineup. I'm not a big fan of typically a lot of the Detroit players in terms of betting on money, maybe with the exception of maybe Bogdanovich when he's in Detroit. Typically, I look at like his 3 point props and try to attack those in some capacity. They're just so volatile and to me just can't be trusted. So, um, and in the Knicks, obviously, you've got the same lineup they've been rolling out for a while. Um, since Fournier's been out. So you've got that game in play. Then you've got the Warriors are traveling to Dallas. Obviously, this should be a very fun one for basketball fans. And obviously, there's probably on paper a lot of points to be scored here. So we'll talk more about that. Don't see any major injuries to talk about at this point. And then the last game of the night, you've got the Clippers, a very watered down version of the Clippers going to Portland. So in the focus today will be, and I've already placed my double up and my lottery tickets. So I'll share that with you and some of my the reasoning and what have you. So my encouragement with this would be wherever your bankroll is, like let's just say it's $50. So you turn 50 and you bet 50 to win, so to double that up. On the lotto ticket, you want to do 1/5 of that, so it'd be $10. Um, you could cut that in half and go 25 and 5. You can You can do it in any denomination you want. That's just a formula that I came up with to try to make sure that, and really I'm going to use this video as a way to help, track my success and accountability behind that. Kind of putting my money where the mouth is. So that's kind of what I did today. So my double up will be 50, looking to turn that into 100, and then hopefully the $10, lottery ticket. If I can hit it, you know, 1/5 of the time at minimum, then I feel pretty good about what it is. The lottery ticket odds will be differ depending on the slate. And again, there's a lot of different things. I just want to give you kind of things that I'm looking at. You can modify it in any way. Just use this as a guide. You don't want to necessarily, copy it exactly per se. Really put your own spin on it. I strongly encourage that. But for the double up portion, I started when I look at the slate, it's what's money to me. So first thing I like to do is look at opportunities with teams, right? Teams can't get hurt, right? They can't come out of the game and not come back, right? Portland's going to finish the game. The Mavericks are going to finish the game, so on and so forth. So one of the things I did is I took the Knicks plus 9.5. So I like to go and not let Vegas dictate my odds. I like to create my own odds that I feel safe with, that I feel comfortable with. So in the alt section, you can go pick different spreads. I feel like that's a safe number. I want to say it's like minus 900 or something. As a matter of fact, I can't see it within the framework of my bet, so I apologize. Um, I'll pull it up, but it's somewhere in that neighborhood. And what I'm going to give you cumulative comes to right around plus 100. Sometimes maybe a little more, a little less, but basically should equate to, exactly doubling your money. As a matter of fact, for me, it came out to exactly plus 100. So it was the Knicks plus 9.5. I don't feel like Detroit is good enough, even at home, especially without Cade Cunningham, to really blow the Knicks out per se. That's just the feeling based on the way the teams are playing right now. You couple that with the fact that Thibodeau likes to really grind his starters. That gives him a chance to really at least come back or shave down points towards the end of a game. So that's just kind of a default feeling. So that's the first thing I went with. You could do that with Golden State Dallas because Dallas just to me doesn't have a tendency to blow teams out. So you could throw Golden State in there and get a bunch of points, maybe about 9 to 12 incorporated and do that. I didn't do that because I felt probably the biggest money and then what I felt stronger and the strongest about really is Portland at home. I think I'm getting 10.5. I don't think the Clippers, the way they're made up, no Paul George, no Leonard, no John Wall, no Luke Kennard. I don't know that they're going to go into Portland and blow them out. So I feel good. Honestly, I like the Portland to win a game, and I do that a lot. If I think a team has a really good chance to win a game, let alone not lose by a lot, I usually try to put those in there. So I think the way that Portland is playing right now, they've really been a tough out, even on the road. So my expectation is that they win this game, but I feel very comfortable about them not losing by 11. Okay, so that's in the parlay. The next thing when we get into players is what's money is I'm going to go right to Steph Curry. Steph Curry, while I don't really love making 3 pointers a part of my safe, right? Because it's a volatile category. People can have off nights and so on and so forth. But I mean, when you shoot so many and you're so good at it, it's one of the, on a 3 game slate, probably the better bets you can make. And I find that three is, I can't tell you the last time that Steph Curry hasn't hit 3 threes in a game. So I put that in my double up. So again, I don't have. I could have, and I'll do be better at this and putting the odds in. But just need to know collectively it came out to doubling my money. So it's all in one. So there are some people, and something that I'm trying to get better about is finding one thing that I like and just putting money on that. Even if I parlay it, we can't make a living off just parlays. So you have to find things that give you opportunities that if that happens, you are successful. I'll give an example like touchdowns in the NFL. If you feel strong about 3 to 5 guys getting a touchdown, sure, parlay them, but individually bet on them so that you've got money coming back in. That's just something that, and I think it's always a work in progress to try to find the best ways to make money. Yes, it's fun to do parlays and when they hit and so on and so forth, but just kind of throwing it out there. So once again, Steph Curry hitting 3 threes, I feel that's a pretty safe bet for today. In that same game. You could put Clay Thompson with two threes, and because he's been, that's a pretty good. You're getting decent odds, and I think it's like in the it might even be minus 280 so yeah, I think it's like right on minus 280. But a little scared of the Dallas situation. Don't ask me why. Sometimes it's those feelings, and sometimes you have to go with those. I would not talk anybody out of Clay hitting two threes and being able to put some money on it per se or collectively within the framework of a parlay, but I stayed away from that. I went to something that I felt a little more stronger with, and that's Draymond Green getting 4 assists. When you have the shooting around the way he does and just the way he plays as in a pass first mentality in a very wide open game, I feel like 4 assists feels pretty safe. So I put that in my parlay. Um, One of the things I try to do is minimize the amount of people within a parlay. Like I'm betting on Steph. I could go to 21 points. I could see that angle. Getting like 21 or 22 is a safe number for Curry as well if you wanted to put that in there. The next thing I looked at is Luka Doncic, right? That's money, especially at home. He has the most unassisted field goals in the NBA this year. He's just a guy, and with his size, his ability to get into the paint, along with just his volume. So at 24 and a half points, I feel pretty good about. Um, there aren't many occasions where he doesn't hit that number, but I don't think that an uptick matchup, I believe this game is in prime time as well, is going to be a time where he chooses not to score. So I got Luca 24 and a half. The last thing that makes the plus 100, so again, you see that while it's not one or two or three things, collectively, these all feel pretty good. And that's just something that has worked out for me. A lot of times I do it within a framework. I'm able to find plus 100 within a framework of one game. I've hit many of those, whether it be football or basketball. So, I decided to kind of expand it and just if I can find it within a game, how about a whole slate? So the last thing is Anthony Simons. The guy just without Damian Lillard is an animal. The usage, the volume, he just kind of does it all. So I put him in at 16 and a half points. It's been a long time, I believe, since he's hit that number. I can actually check that now, but I just feel good about, and I'm really, when we talk about the lottery portion, in love with his three, he just chucks threes. He just came off a 38-point performance. The guy just balls, and I'm looking at his points here. Uh, let's see. Funny thing is, his last game he had exactly 15, so that'd be the only one, and that was in Brooklyn. Again, that's just it is what it is. Before that, like I can't. I'm going down. It's been since like the last month. There was a game at home against Miami where he didn't play well and didn't even shoot that much. So that's kind of where I'm at. So that is a plus 100 bet. Um, not going to share. Well, basically, when you think of the lottery ticket, that could be anything. Again, interestingly enough, the lottery ticket focuses on money. So some of the same players, but a little bit more aggressive with some of the odds. Just to kind of throw some examples out there, instead of getting points, I really like Portland to win. So I feel good about that. I upped Simon's points and three threes for. So there's still an element of safety, but there's a little bit more aggression. So my lottery is a plus 957. It has Simons to hit 20 and three threes. On the Knicks side, one of the things that I feel pretty good about is Barrett, RJ Barrett getting to 15 points. I think there's decent odds there, considering what that floor looks like. It's 15 points. You don't have to have the game of your life. And I would even throw Julius Randle in there for that. He's a little more volatile with the floor, but tends to have enough volume that I feel like that's a pretty safe thing, along with Barrett hitting at least a 1-3. Um, he's been, chucking them and he's been hitting threes. I want to say in the last 5 games, he's got a three. And I think this matchup lends itself to that. I don't think he's going to have a problem getting shots up and finding open ways. So, um, still stuck with the Knicks getting points. You can obviously tweak that to get a little bit less, but I like that cushion just in case Detroit finds a way to squeak this one out. Again, the goal is to hit the bet, right? And so I try to put things together very practical and realistic. And then I did Curry with three threes, but getting to 20 points. Klay Thompson with two threes. Draymond with four assists. And also Julius Randle with six rebounds. So just to give you an example, there's nothing overwhelming, and you can accentuate these any way you want to. I think a really good lotto ticket, has Steph, at 4 or 5 threes, Simons at 4 or 5 threes, Luka to get over 30. I think that's a ticket in itself right there. Something in that arena that, you know, really feels good to me. And so, I'm obviously going to check myself and see how this does. So just again, the double up vary is plus 100. I'm going to try to do this daily and just find ways to grow the bankroll. And I welcome feedback or comments if anybody happens to watch this. I don't really know how this is going to go. I'm not looking to make this some kind of super deal, but if there's somebody that I can help or somebody that really has any feedback for me, I'm welcome to it. So maybe one day I'll get some snazzy title and all that for it, and we'll take this journey together. All right. Good luck to everybody tonight.